on it. You know, that Western Standard Time doesn't rehearse. They just say, here's the set list and here's the charts, and everybody reads the charts and does it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing to see, because you know they're all really high caliber players. You know, they can just do that.
Yeah.
I can't really sight read music, but I can kind of put my chords down on the chart, and I write it really big so I can see it on the paper. And
Yeah,
I definitely squeaked through my way through that band, but they hire me because they know I know how to play ska correctly. You know, they know that they know how to play vintage ska. I think that's why I'm lucky enough to play in that band. You know, for the feel, you know, not so much like all the technical musical side, but more of playing traditional ska correctly.
Okay, so then I have two questions then to follow up with that. The first touching on the whole music education, and then the second, when you say they hired me because I know how to play ska correctly. So the first question is, you know, people are like, damn, okay, if I want to be a touring guitarist, I should probably go get my ass at MI, you know, enroll at MI, and I need to do the guitar program, or I need to do my CSU or something.
Yeah, you don't need to do any of that.
Mm-hmm. So
not for ska. I mean, you can. That's great. I mean, I'm not to discredit people who study music, you know, go to college for it and all that stuff. That's great. You know, I mean, especially if you want to get into. There's so many fields in that where, yeah, that could definitely come in handy when it comes to writing. And if you know all that stuff, it's definitely handy. You definitely have an edge over the kid who just learned in his garage. You know.
Do you ever and this is part of my second question, do you ever get angered when you come across like the various YouTube videos out there where it's guitar YouTube channels, and you know, they're probably pretty good players, they're probably always great, but then they upload videos and say how to play ska, and the dude's explaining it, and he's just like, so ska is pretty much fast and reggae.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of misconceptions of how to do it, and
you know, he'll pull out his guitar and he'll say that this is how to play skanks, not like the, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of the.
How do you feel about that? And what kind of advice, before we move on to our last question, what kind of just advice, just like feel advice and just wrist technique advice could you give to guitarists out there? Because I've seen a lot of great guitarists that can play, you know, Stairway to Heaven backwards, but can't hold skanks for longer than a couple measures.
I would say listen to the originators. You know, listen to the Jamaicans. You know, this is I get like every interview I'm in, I end up coming across this topic because it's like, at the end of the day, we're all playing Jamaican music. You know, people want to put these words around and this thing like, oh, this is Cali roots or this or that, and it's like, you know, man, this is Jamaican music. You know, this is a music that came from Jamaica, and people try to twist it around or put their little title on it. You know, so I would say listen to those guys. You know, if you want to play ska correctly, listen to the Skatalites. You know, they were just the originators and they did it right. So if you're getting on YouTube, don't look up look up the guys who invented this music and do it and do your best to emulate that if you want to play ska, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know, but there's all kinds of styles now. You got two-tone and you got the Orange County third wave thing, and there's all kinds of styles, you know. Now I like the traditional ska personally, you know. I like the original stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's honestly always like overlap is what I notice. I just feel like people put labels on different time periods and kind of like group them together. Do you agree or do you disagree? And maybe
as far as the time periods, I do agree. You know, as far as Jamaican music, ska, it really was broken down into years in Jamaica at those times. You know, ska was first. You know, ska came in the '60s, so up through at the time of independence, you know, ska was going off, and up until about 1966, I would say, was the ska period, and then like '67. You know, they slowed the rhythm down a little bit. It was kind of more straight. That became the rock steady years, like 67, 68. Only a couple years. Still, tons of music came out of that period. Tons of some of the best songs, actually, in my opinion, are some of the rock steady years of Jamaica. And then, 1969 came, you know, the Agrolite style, skinhead reggae stuff, you know, with the Rude Boys and all that. And so, yeah, in Jamaica, it was definitely time. You know, the years were definitely dictating what the styles were at that time, you know. And then even after 69, you get into about 73, 74, and then the roots comes in, you know. Then you get the roots really slowed down reggae, you know, once Bob really became a superstar at that time, you know. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty accurate to say the styles of Jamaican music were in correlation with the years, you know, of what was doing at the time. At the time they were doing it, it was all new stuff to them. Now it's all throwback, but
Yeah.
at the time, that was nobody had been doing it yet.
The last question that I want to get on your opinion on coronavirus live shows.
It's hard to say. It's all up to the governors. It's all up to the government. You know what they say, what they're going to allow. I mean, personally, I think people can't wait to see live music again. I think most people are willing to risk some of the take a little bit of risk to do that. But you're right. I mean, I think outdoor festivals will be the first. I mean, you're probably not going to see indoor, you know, like little clubs. But I'm hoping like some of these like outdoor beach shows will be going off. I think, you know, like maybe like Surf Rodeo is another one in Ventura.
Yeah.
I've gotten a little bit of word that might be happening. Well, it's a waiting game at this point. We're really just we got to wait for the governors to give us the permission to do it. You know, that's all we can do. So in the meantime, we're just going to keep doing what you're doing, you know, and keep doing our live thing, and you know, keep doing our streaming and videos and recording from home. Definitely encourage everybody to record right now. Take advantage of the time, you know, and gear up for next year. And if you listeners out there, anybody who's on your podcast, any of these other bands out there are interested in recording, especially Jamaican and reggae stuff, my studio is available here in Van Nuys in the Valley. It's not too far it's about an hour from the AV, not too far away, but, you know, hit me up. I'm willing to work with new artists all the time, you know, offer any production skills I have and any equipment if people are interested doing analog sound, you know, Solutionary Studio here in Van Nuys.
Yeah, Chris Brennan, Solutionary Studio.
All right.
Thank you again, man. Chris Brennan.
All right, man. Thanks again for having me. June 19th, the next one, Rise Roots. Look out. Pathways. Boom.
Good one, man.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Chris Brennan, a genuine talent you're going to want to keep your eyes on, no doubt about it. Make sure you give all of his bands a listen. Arise Roots, the Agrolites, the Expanders, Western Standard Time Ska Orchestra, and the Solutionaries. All phenomenal projects, honestly. I wouldn't lie to you. Give Chris Brennan a follow. His IG tag is @Chris Brennan 88, CHRISBRENNAN 88. Remember, he's booking studio time right now at Solutionary Studios in Van Nuys, California. Get in touch with him. Thank you everybody once again for listening to the SKA CAST. Be safe.